All right, 19 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and I love the fact that they kept it on the 11th because there's such a significance between the 11th hour, 11th day, that whole thing. I always get it wrong, but we remember our veterans with great respect and great admiration and great gratitude because if it weren't for our veterans, well, the language we speak probably wouldn't be English and so many other changes that we probably wouldn't even want to imagine. Colonel Robert Bob Patrick is on the phone. Robert Bob. I guess he goes by Bob. Yes. He's retired from the U.S. Army. He's the director of the Veterans History Project. And the Library of Congress Veterans History Project is something we've been paying attention to for a long time now. I think it was maybe 10 years ago, as a matter of fact, that we invited veterans to come in and record. And we submitted those to the program through Congressman Cliff Stearns back in those days.
Yes.
Colonel Patrick, it's an honor to have you on the show. Thank you for your service, and thank you for being on the air with us today. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Larry. It's great to be here, and we appreciate the support you've given us all these years.
And where are you right now? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Capitol Hill at the Library of Congress.
Oh, wow. How easy is it to access the audios that have been submitted?
Not very hard at all. We have some 95,000 collections that have been collected through the Veterans History Project. Anyone can go to our website, www.loc.gov/vets. Go to our database. We have about 16,000 of the collections that are digitized, so you can actually go online and see and hear these interviews or see some of the material.
Oh, wow. Oh, you don't have to be there to listen to them.
For the ones we've digitized, but anyone can come here to the Library of Congress. This is the nation's library, open to any citizen that wants to come here and use it and experience them here at the library.
Wow. And if we were to make them still, I mean, obviously there's always veterans from every war. 10 years ago, we probably had a lot more World War II vets around than are around now. We'd lose so many every day. And can you imagine if we had this from like the Civil War? Can you imagine if we had audio from soldiers and veterans?
Oh, yeah.
So this is kind of new, actually, in the world, isn't it?
It is. I mean, we go back all the way to World War I. There were still some World War I veterans around back when the project started back in 2000. But it's been remarkable that we've been able to capture. We've got about 55,000 World War II veterans who have told their stories, and several thousand more from the other conflicts since then.
Wow.
But it's a great thing, and that's the great thing about this project. I think anybody can sit down with a tape recorder or a video camera and record the story of the veteran in their life.
We did, as I mentioned, we did this some years ago, and part of what we did was on the air. People were calling in. And my own dad called in, and he has since passed away, but I never heard, and I have that archived somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In fact, online. But it's amazing how an invitation to speak about what you did in the war is the only way sometimes you get this information.
We find that quite often, that the veteran hasn't been asked to tell his or her story, or they haven't had the right way to tell it. And we think the Veterans History Project provides them with a kind of very straightforward, important way to tell it that's going to be shared here with the Library of Congress. But also, it's a gift that they're going to give back to their family. I'm sure you felt the same way hearing your dad's story. It's a real gift to get that, to hear him talk about it and talk about what their experience was. It may be something you hadn't heard before.
When veterans want to come in and participate in this project, is it a better idea for them to come alone to do the recordings because of the emotions, or should they bring a family member with them so that family member can share that firsthand?
Well, we know it can be an emotional time for a veteran to tell their story, and quite often some of the older veterans do bring someone with them to tell it. Usually we like to have it a one-on-one between the interviewer and the veteran. Sometimes veterans aren't comfortable talking around their family members. It's kind of interesting dynamic to watch.
Yeah.
They have been told it for years. So you kind of have to feel it out and to see where that veteran is in his or her life.
I would kind of more of a practical question, I guess, Bob. The listener who says, gosh, I want to get Grandpa on tape now that I'm hearing this, I got to do this. Do they have any thing they need to keep in mind? Like, can it be longer than 15 minutes, or do they have to edit it down if it's a long-winded response? What are the rules about that stuff?
We asked it to be at least a 30-minute or more interview.
At least?
I think at least 30 minutes. But most veterans, I've done 4-hour interviews, and we want it to be unedited. This is the veteran's story told as it is. That's what oral history is.
That is awesome.
Our Veterans History Project Field Kit, which again you can get through our website, provides all the information someone needs to talk about, to have this interview with the veteran, what our standards are, and how it should be sent to us. But it's pretty simple.
Can they do it on video? Does it have to be audio?
Either one, audio or video, it makes no difference to us, as long as they, again, kind of state our standards about what I just talked about. But it's not a hard thing to do.
And how do you know that the person that's sending in their stories is a real veteran, or if it's just somebody making something up?
Well, we anticipate that the interviewer has kind of checked the individual out ahead of time and realized that they are, in fact, a veteran. And I will tell you, in the years that we've done this, we've had a few of those that have come through that, quite weren't all what they said they would be. But I think most of our veterans today have been very honest about who they are, what they did, and what their service is. And we have a disclaimer that says, it is what it is, and this is what this person's story is, and we encourage everyone to tell their story.
I don't know if this is true everywhere, but the schools in our county stay open on Veterans Day for the very purpose of it being an educational opportunity. At the Library of Congress, do you have students taking field trips there, not just on Veterans Day, but any day? And are they listening to and being taught, maybe with some guidance, what they're hearing, so they understand what they're hearing or watching?
Exactly. We have a number of school groups here. This is another great thing about this project. It's since we have these stories online, teachers can actually take these stories and put them into the classroom, and they get a little bit more than that page and a half on what World War II was. So they can actually hear from men and women who served in World War II and have kind of what they call a educational experience. It's a first-person learning experience of those who were there.
Wow.
So, I think we found teachers have loved this project from that standpoint, both of having students talk to veterans and record their stories, but also pumping some of these stories into the classroom.
Can veterans who have been in Afghanistan submit their stories as well?
Sure. We take veterans from all conflicts. We prefer that it's after they have left the service. It tends to be a little bit more comfortable to them to talk at that times. But veterans from World War I all the way up through today. We're glad to receive them.
Can we search for somebody? Can we go online and look for the soundbite or the audio or the video clip from somebody we know? Yes.
Again, through our website, the database, you can search by name, you can search by service, you can search by conflict. Not all of them are digitized, but some 16,000 are, and those that are digitized are marked appropriately. So yes, you can hear some of these stories through the website.
If families have received letters from their loved ones during World War I and they're not here anymore, but all they do is the grandchildren or great-grandchildren have these letters or a diary, can they submit the written form?
We would love to receive them. We're commemorating the 100th anniversary of World War I this year, believe it or not.
Wow.
We do ask that they send those materials to us. There's some instructions in the field kit that talks about how they can be sent to us, but letters from World War I or World War II are very, very important items, and we think there's something that needs to be preserved, and we know how to do that.
Wow. What is the website? Make sure I have this right.
www.loc.gov/vets, VETS. S on the end.
Does the field kit cost anything?
Absolutely not. They're absolutely free, and we'll be glad to send anyone, or again, you can download it off the website.
Wow. And the same website, LOC, as in Library of Congress.gov, so loc.gov/vets. And actually, Robin already has it on our guest list. If you go to the WOCA.com guest list for AM Ocala Live, you'll see that. And, of course, it'll be on Facebook as well after this interview is over. Well, I love this project, and I'm going to spend some time there myself. I'm just always amazed at the stories that you hear. We have a veterans show every Thursday. And I basically don't do much of the talking, obviously. I work the board here. But the vets come in and they talk, and every once in a while a story will come out that is so unbelievable. It's like, wow, how come that wasn't in a movie? Like there's one vet, a World War II vet. He was in the Navy. I'll tell you real quickly. A kamikaze pilot sunk his ship. Everybody was either killed or in the water dying with sharks. He actually survived. And he remembers seeing some of his comrades floating in the water overnight that disappeared because of the sharks.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. We have that video somewhere. Yeah.
I often say one of the most remarkable things you do is sit a young person down, 18 years old or so, and ask one of these veterans, what were you doing when you were 18? And they hear a story like that. And it makes them appreciate a little bit more about how broader their world needs to be.
Sure. Colonel Patrick, thank you so much. We salute you and thank you and for everything. And thank you for being on the show with us today.
Larry, it's great. Have a great Veterans Day, and we encourage everyone to sit down with a veteran in their life, make Veterans Day meaningful by capturing his or her story for the Veterans History Project.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, sir. We'll be right back.
They're getting better fighting ISIS, but still must be upgraded.
So the next phase is for us to train and assist Iraqi security forces so that